Good morning. It's Tuesday again. These weeks are flying by. Right, let me just check I'm in the right place. Bear with me a moment. Hopefully there will be some people joining us this morning. Okay, I'm in the right place. I'm just going to quickly share this to my group. Can you hear me clicking buttons in the background? There we go. All shared over because I know some of my VIPs watch from there. So I wonder if anyone is joining me this morning. It's damp and dreary out there. Not a pleasant morning, but great weather for crafting. Okay, there's a couple of people here. If you've just joined me, hi, do say hello. I do love to know who's here. I know some of you that have purchased kits for this series are at work and not able to join me live. So, oh, morning Ellie, how are you? You're going to catch up later. Heading out to collect a desk from Bristol. Oh, okay. Okay, go careful while you're out and about. The roads are probably not very pleasant. Should imagine lots of puddles going on this morning. So I'd be intrigued to know what your desk is for. Surely not for that craft cabin. I'm pretty sure you've got enough equipment in there. So I'll catch up with you later anyway. Thanks for stopping on to say hi. So it's Tuesday. It is the 27th of October. It has been a busy time for me. I held my retreat at the weekend at Bowden Hall Hotel in Gloucestershire. We had a fabulous time and I'm still kind of catching up. I didn't get a lot of sleep in the run-up. Didn't get a lot of sleep whilst I was there, but we had so much fun and I'm just so thankful that we were able to finally get together and hold this retreat, because we've been hanging on since April, when we should have actually gone ahead to start with, but for obvious reasons we couldn't. So I'm just really thankful that we actually managed to go ahead with it at the weekend. So I know I worked everybody really hard, and I know a lot of you are exhausted as well. So, but it's really lovely to see you all sharing on Facebook all the projects that you've created. So it's lovely to see that. So thank you all of you that who attended. Thank you for your support and for bearing with me while we worked our way through this. So this morning I am I'm still in my studio, but I'm at my kind of working desk. I have one of the large kitchen islands from IKEA. I can't remember what it's called, and even if I could, I probably wouldn't be able to pronounce it. But I've come to the conclusion that maybe it's my floor that is slightly wobbly, as well as the desk, because there is a bit of movement as I'm walking around up here. There is a bit of movement. So Ellie says, oh, your desk's for Rosemary. Okay. Okie dokie. Morning, Ruby. How are you? All good, I hope. All good, I hope. So yes, so I thought I would try my live up here. So I'm standing and working, but I'm hoping that the lighting is good because I have light above me as well here. So I may well just each live go in a different place, and we'll try and come to a conclusion which is the best option. So we are on week 4 already of the Love of Leaves Stamp and Chat. I can't believe where the weeks are going. So if you're just joining and you have no idea what I am doing here, I am running live sessions for anybody that wants to join in and, you know, just come and sit and do your own thing along while I'm creating. But also people have pre-booked kits and the stamps, and they've had kits in the post and they are following along with me. Some of them live and some of them are catching up. So so that we get to stamp together because a lot of us can't actually meet in person at the moment. So Ruby, you're okay, that's good. Are you stamping live with me this morning? If you are, I will try and go at a good steady pace. So those that haven't joined us before, these are the last 3 weeks cards that we've created. So I included the Love of Lee's stamp set and also a Bumblebee ink pad as well. So I am trying to create all of the projects using just these stamps and just this ink. Now I'm aware some of you will have other colours that you may want to use. The people that ordered the kits had lots of die cuts included to try and help fill the card up, but obviously if you have the Mossy Meadow ink pad, you could have stamped your leaves rather than using my die cut. So there's always that option for you. The kit also included some embellishments and some of the linen thread as well. So I'm going to pop those to one side. If you're stamping live, you need to pull out your bag that is labelled up as card number 4 or week number 4. As I always say, I don't have the nice posh craft bag with all your pieces in like you do. You will need to locate, maybe I should bring in the card and show you what we're doing. Let's move that to one side. So here's today's card. Now we're using the big leaf, which is my favourite. I haven't actually used the stitched elements of the dies for this one, but I know a few of you own those dies, so do feel free to add on the stitched pieces when you're cutting. Obviously if you don't have the dies, you're going to be fussy cutting this out today anyway, and I will fussy cut mine just so that you can keep up with me. Today we're also using our little sponge wedge. Okay, so you'll need to grab that out of your box. Ruby, you're going to stamp with me live, otherwise you don't get round to catching up. Oh, I know, it's dreadful, isn't it? We put things to one side and life kind of takes over, and then we don't get to finish off our project. So that's a really good idea. So you need to locate. I'm going to pop that to one side. Open up your stamps. We used these at the weekend for my retreat, so I'm hoping that they're clean. I'm going to be tempted to just give them a quick clean before I start. So we're using the big leaf and this kind of spade-shaped leaf. Let's locate a block. So I've got a C block for this one. This one has a tinge of Bermuda Bay on it. I think I am going to just give that a quick clean on my scrub behind me, just to make sure. I mean, my grid paper's telling me it's clean, but I just want to make sure before it goes into my Bumblebee ink that there isn't any Coastal Cabana left on the outside of the stamp. Okay, so we are dry, cleaned and dry. What else do we need? For the moment, let's just put those over there and take our pieces. So you've got 2 pieces of Whisper White in your kit. One is slightly smaller than the other, so the larger piece is your insert, so pop that to one side for the moment. What I often do is slip it inside my envelope, and then I know that that is my insert. And then we're going to take our crumb cake base layer, and I've pre-scored this one for you. So we're just going to fold that one and score down there. Put that over there. I think we'll start with our stamping first. So take some of your scrap, grab your ink. I'm actually going to move that right out of my way for the moment. Is anybody else joining us this morning? I know some of you have to be at work, which is rotten, but that's the way it is. Got to pay the bills. Oh, before I start, I'm going to grab a sheet of my scrap the sheet out of my book, of my scrap paper, just for stamping off, just to keep my grid nice and clean, because for the large leaf here I can see that I've stamped it off because I'm using the same ink, so this will be the second generation. Now of course, if you've got plenty of scrap, don't stamp off onto a spare piece, stamp off onto a piece of Whisper White, and then you can actually use that other leaf. But I have quite a few already, so let's just ink this one up. Remember, you should really, as I was saying that, it did exactly what I thought it was going to. You should really be using your piercing mat or some kind of spongy mat, because when you are working on a really hard surface, okay, so I'm just going to stop there because I'm hoping I'm still live, but my MacBook is telling me that it's having issues. So I'm just going to refresh that quickly. This seems to be happening a lot with Facebook. When I'm trying to view other people's lives, it's actually not letting me watch the video. It says that it's having trouble playing the video. So Ruby, if you could just pop in a comment just to let me know you can still hear me, then I can continue going just fine. So let's just stamp this one again. See, this is rockier than my table. So a spongy mat will give you a much better stamped image. So when, as I was explaining before, I do love our photopolymers because you can see where you're stamping, but they don't have as much give as our red rubber stamps. So Stampin' Up! Always recommend that we use a sponge mat. This is our old Pierce mat when you're stamping, and it just gives you that bit of sponginess to help you get a good clean image. As you can see, this one here, half of it missed. So we don't actually sell this mat, but we do sell a mat for the Stamparatus, so you can still purchase something if you're a bit stuck for a spongy surface. Ruby, you can still hear me? Okay, that's good. I can't actually see myself or see what I'm doing. Thank you, Facebook, for making life awkward. Okay, I am actually back. I can see now, so okay. So sometimes I wonder if it is the internet or whether it is just Facebook being annoying. Good old Facebook. We do love Facebook, don't we? Okay, so we've got our first image. The second image, this one here, we're going to ink it up, and we're not going to stamp it off. We're going to just stamp it straight down, and you can see the gradient, the difference in the colour of those two images. So now that I've got those, let's pop my mat to one side. I'm just going to bring over my cutting platforms for my cut and emboss machine. I am ordering new plates today, and the reason being, from the weekend we had so much use, this plate has become quite bowed. So now when I'm going to pop my dies down onto here, I'm actually going to tape them down because I am waiting for my magnetic plate to come. So it's just to pull off, it's just some old washi tape that we used to sell. And I'm just going to tape these down to my card so that they don't move when I pop that top plate on. Oh, actually, I did say I was going to fussy cut these, didn't I? Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'll fussy cut these because I've got other die cut pieces to do with you. So just pop that tape to one side and reuse that. So Ruby, have you stamped your images? Are you with me at the moment? So So let's just cut these two out. So yeah, we had a fabulous weekend at the retreat. The hotel looked after us. They had, you know, all the measures were in place. We were well spaced apart. When I arrived on Friday morning, I ensured that we had lots of table space. So we all had our own table and we were well spaced out between each other. So it worked really well. There were a few things that obviously we had to do that would be differently. So we didn't have our usual buffet breakfast or lunch for obvious reasons. So we had plated meals, which really was the only difference apart from the social distancing. Oh, and of course we had to be in bed by 10. We had a curfew, which was fine because if you followed me on here, then you will read my comment about how tired we were. We did stamp after dinner on the Saturday evening. I prepared projects for everyone, which I'm sure they loved me for. But most people came back up to the suite and stamped. But it's a long day, and I'm sure you know just how tiring crafting can be. Believe it or not. As therapeutic as it is, and as relaxing as it is when you're doing it, it does kind of wipe you out. So yeah, so we did lots of stamping on Saturday night. We did some Christmas projects using the Warm Hugs stamp set. Might be able to grab a project in a minute and show you. And we used the coffee cups and the coffee cup holder, which is really cute. Makes a really simple gift just by adding a bit of DSP and a bit of stamping to those. So yeah, all was fine. And of course the clocks went back on Saturday, so we had an extra hour in bed, which was brilliant, even though I was awake half the night. Anyone that knows me will know that I'm such a stressor and such a faffer, and I just want everyone to be happy and I want everything to be right. So I led awake for half of the night on Saturday evening, worrying about the projects and had I remembered everything and was everyone going to like what we're doing. So yeah, that's just me. It's just the way I am. It's in me and there's nothing I can do about it. I quite often chuckle about that, about my OCD, that I can't help it. It's, you know, it's just the way it is. I like things to be just so. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way because that is distracting. So we've got our two stamped images. Next, while you're still probably fussy cutting, Ruby, I'm going to bring in, I know you've probably all seen these dies, but these are the Stitched Leaves dies. So they are on a bundle with the stamp set. So if you purchase the dies and the stamps together, you will receive a 10% discount, which is really great. And you've got dies that work together. So you've got a lovely outline die, and then you've got this gorgeous stitched element that pops inside, and I absolutely love that. So as lovely as they are when they are used with a stamped image, they are equally as beautiful when you don't stamp and when you just cut from cardstock, which is what I'm going to do next. So you guys will already have yours die cut. Of course, if you have Mossy Meadow ink, feel free to stamp these rather than use my die cuts. You're more than welcome to do that. So I'm going to take these two leaves and then, oh look, this is from the weekend. You can see people were, let's just take this bit of washi off. We're using the washi tape to stop them moving. Right, which one does that go with? Just locating which middle. I think it goes that way. That looks better. It's much easier, guys, if you have the magnetic plate that goes with these. I'm just going to take those down because when I swing around to die cut these, you can guarantee they're going to move. So I'm just taping them in place like that. So bear with me while I run them through my machine, which is still squeaking, you will hear. There we go. Just going to pop those right out like that. Put those to one side for the moment. And then you will need to locate your stitched circle. This is actually from the Stitched Shapes dies. I'm just going to show you them because if you don't have a lot of shapes dies, these are a really good set to go with because they have lots of, rather than buying just circles or squares, obviously you've got 3 options with the ovals as well, and I just love that they're stitched. I love anything that's stitched. I think it transforms that shape. So who else is on here? Sarah. Good morning, Sarah. Of course it is half term, isn't it? So thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you're all keeping well. It feels like a million years since I've seen you guys. I cannot wait to get back to holding events where I can have more than 4 people come along. So, right, 2 leaves. Back to it. What else do we need? Oh, there is a white leaf hidden under here. Can you see this one? This one's got a bit flat. I would normally have that a bit more 3D, so I'm going to take this die, a bit of scrap white, cut that one. I don't need the whole, can you see here? I don't need the whole of the leaf. So to save my paper, I'm just going to run that through. And then you also will need, so the other die set that I've been using throughout this series is the Tasteful Labels, which is such a fantastic set, a really good set of dies. And obviously because you've got the stitched ones in here, I do really love this. And I just love that you can layer them up as well. So quite often like popping that one inside there and having a greeting in the middle there. So a really good set of dies. Today I've just used this one, which we've used on a couple of the other cards. And we're just going to die cut one of those as well. I don't need to hold these down with any tape because I'm not lining them in to a stamped image. Bear with me while I just run this through. Gosh, can you hear it wobbling about? Anybody else here this morning? Let's have a quick look, just refresh. Ruby, you're keeping up, that's good. Good to hear. Just love that shape. Just that little border on it. And then we need this leaf as well. So let's just pop those 2 back in their places. And we've just got one more piece that I need to die cut, and that is using this long die here. It's lovely. It's a background die really, or I would call it. So those of you that have got the kits, I've already done this for you. So I'm just going to lay this one down here. I'm going to pop a little bit of tape. I can find the end. Just to make sure it doesn't move on my central. Don't want it crooked. You know, I've done this a couple of times and it's been crooked where it's slightly moved, and you know it bothers me. So I'm just going to run this through. So Sarah, I'm hoping that this week you'll find a bit of time to get crafting, being away from work. Or most probably you're going to be catching up on general things. It's a little bit crooked, but we'll go with it. as Belle says, I need to embrace the wonk. Okay, so do you remember me saying you get bits stuck in there from the dies? So with this layer, I think we're going to just pop this one now. Move all your elements to one side. And take some Tombow or glue of your choice and just lay this one down. Put plenty over those stitched pieces, because that's the part of the layer that will be harder to stick because of all the stitched lines in it. It's a bit crooked. It's a bit crooked, but never mind. Could have put that on a bit straighter as well, but there we go. Okay, next let's pull some other pieces in. So you have a rectangle, smaller rectangle. With this one, we're going to take our little spongy wedge, giving you a little bumblebee tab on the top there to hold on to. Grab my bit of scrap back in, and I'm just going to take a bit of ink on there, take a bit off, because I don't like it to be too harsh. I like the soft effect, and in fact on my card it is quite harsh, but it does make the layer pop, so which is what we are aiming for. Is this actually making my camera wobble? Because I can see it moving, so it must be my floorboards over here in the studio that must have springy floorboards over here. Right, let's go with a bit more in the corners. Now if you were brave and you wanted to give this more of an effect, I did show you this before, but if you take a bit of ink on your sponge and then work in a circular motion, you can create quite a nice tone of colour. Can you see that? So you could be really brave and actually work in a circular motion around the edge, and you'd kind of get like a smoky sort of finish to it. So I've done mine very subtly compared to my original card, but it's still, as you can see when I lay it down, it still stands out. Ink pad to one side for the moment. Now you have a strip of grey granite and a small strip of soft sea foam. So we're just going to lay down this piece of grey granite onto our base. So a bit of Tombow on the back. That wobbled. I saw that, my camera move in my peripheral vision then. That was a good wobble. And we're going to pop it down so we've got sort of an even border, top and bottom, about an inch in or so, roughly about there. Doesn't really matter. It's going to go underneath this layer, so you don't want it too close to this edge, because otherwise it's not going to look right if it's hanging over there. And then a little bit of Tombow just along this one edge, and then we're going to pop that just over. If we line that on our grid, I can use that line to tell me if it's straight, which it looks pretty straight to me. This is why I love my grid paper, because it does help. But mind you, it helps when you're sat, when you're able to lean over your project to see what you're doing. It is a big bonus. Next we'll just pop this layer down on. So more Tombow on this layer. Try not to get it on my fingers. And just lay this one down. straight as you can. I think that's okay. Right, where are we going with this now? So take your stitched circle. Mine, I popped some dimensionals underneath. I'm on another new sheet already. Oh, and I lost a couple of nails over the weekend, and I think that was packing boxes of product and transporting them from my studio here into the car, and I broke two really low. And what a difference it makes. You kind of get used to having your nails at a good length, and then when you lose one, you feel lost without it. Well, I certainly do. And I don't have the best of nails. My nails are really weak and they're very ridged. And quite often this one, I have one particular ridge and it just continually splits upwards, which isn't very attractive. So I quite often have to keep that one low. But I'm going to be honest, over the last few weeks, my nails have been really good. They've been growing really well. Gardening can put pay to that. I will say that if you're a gardener, you will understand. Your nails never look very clean and they never look very glamorous. But yeah, so I lost a couple at the weekend, but they will grow back. How are we doing? You're still going, Ruby. This little layer here, it kind of gets a bit lost in there. Kind of. If you wanted to use your sponge wedge around the outside, feel free to do that. I'm going to leave mine like that because I'm a lover of layers, and even though it's not obvious that it's there, when you look at it closer you will see it. So I just like that extra bit of something, bit of Tombow on the back of that one. We'll just lay that one down just about there, so it's kind of halfway up but over to the right. Okay, let's have a look. Now I think we will pop this one in. I'm going to lay this one. I may chop the end off of this one. Basically we're going to have that one here, this one coming in here, and let me just check my original whether I've popped these on flat, which I think I have. I haven't used dimensionals because we've already got this layer on dimensionals. We could be in fear of making it too high for posting, so let's just take a bit of Tombow right here. I'm just going to snip off part of the stem because I don't need it, and I'm sliding it just underneath that layer. I think we'll have it round about there, like that. So it's just hanging over the edge. Let my Tombow dry. It's kind of in line with the edge of this rectangle and it's just hanging over the bottom there. So this little leaf here, this kind of one that looks like a spade, bit more Tombow under that one, and I'm going to lay it here because I'm going to hide this stem with my greeting. I forgot to curl the end, so I'm just going to gently, as I'm holding it down to stick it, I'm just going to gently give it a bit of a curve, bending the end up. Now, depending on where you've put your dimensionals on your circle, you should be able to wedge this one under. If it won't go under, simply take your scissors and just snip off the part that you want to show. Okay, you don't have to start pulling your card apart, you can just pop it under there like that. Do I need to take a bit more off, or am I happy with it coming right up there? I think I'm going to take a bit off. I'm going to snip off to here, and I'm just going to lay that one. See, it will go in a bit further now. I'm going to curl this one up a bit so that we notice it more. A bit of Tombow on the back. So I've left Alfie in the house today. He's probably not happy with me. But it's so damp outside, and I didn't really want to leave the door open too long downstairs because I'm trying to keep the heat in. But as you know, I like to keep the door open so that he can have a look outside. So when I come over here to my studio, I shut the door up, and as I walk across, he's looking out the window at me in disgust as to like, why am I not bringing him over with me? Bless him. But once I've finished here, I'm going to go over, grab some breakfast, and then I'll come back over here. I've got lots of work to be doing, ready for next round of Stamp and Chat, so I will bring him back over with me then. Okay, before I pop the other leaves in, let's look at our greeting. So in your stamp set, I have used the thank you greeting. You can use whatever you like. You can use whichever one you want. You've got plenty of room here to pop a greeting on. Got a little block over here. And you need a scrap strip of Whisper White. And I do believe I've actually fussy cut around mine. I may have given you a real skinny strip. I can't remember what I put in your kits now, but I have a whole bag of strips like this and slightly wider that are leftovers from when I cut inserts for cards. So I have a huge bag of them, and I'm going to be honest, I use them all the time. So even a skinny strip like this, keep it. You'll find a use for it. Ruby, Binky is with you. Oh, bless her. Oh, I know. Alfie is he likes to be with you. He is a funny little sausage because, like I've said before, when I leave the door open, you know, he just wants to be here with me. He will wander out in the garden, but he's never out there for long. He'll wander off, go and have a little sniff, and then he comes back. So they like to know where you are, don't they? And they want to be with you all the time. Right, I'm going to try and, can you see if I'm doing it down here? It's tricky for me to line over and stamp that. Now this is wider than what I've used on my original. Am I happy with it like that, or shall I trim it a bit? Let's cut the end off and see. Oh, it's sticking to me. Let's have a bit of Tombow on me. I think that will be just fine. It looks like it's not even because of the Y is hanging down there, but I think that will be fine. I'm just going to pop a couple of dimensionals on the back, but I'm not going to stick it down just yet because we are doing our twine. If I bring the card back in to show you, we're going to pop couple of loops of, it's not twine, it's linen thread under there. So we'll just pop that over there. So locate your linen thread. Just going to straighten mine out a bit. And how I like to create a loop like this is I hold on to it. It's going to locate my glue dots. So I use glue dots to stick this down. And I make a loop. Let's start again. I hold on to it, make a loop around 2 fingers and pinch it, and then make a loop, add in another finger and make another loop. I'm not going to snip it off, I'm going to do it again just so that you can see. So I pinch it between my 2 fingers and thumb, and I make a loop and pinch it, and then I'm adding in a 3rd finger, making another loop and pinching, pulling my fingers out and trimming the edge so that I am left with this, and still pinching it. I'm going to take my glue dots and all of those pieces, I'm going to press down onto my glue dot and wrap my glue dot around it like that. So it's all there. Now it's stuck to my scissors in one piece like that. I'm just going to snip out these longer edges. So that's kind of stuck together. Then I'm going to take another glue dot. In fact, I'll stick it straight on to another glue dot and lift it up, and then decide roughly where I want it to be. Maybe under there slightly, and just pop it down. Oops, flying scissors. Just press it down where your glue dot is, and you can just fiddle and faff a bit with these pieces. Now I can stick over my greeting, take my backing off, and just lay that down. How are we doing for time? Let's have a look. Is that straight? We are. Okay, we're a bit longer today. I might go maybe at a slower pace. So next we need to add in either your 2 stamped leaves if you've stamped them, or if you're going to pop in I'm going to do them that way, so I'm sure I would have put you in opposites. If I haven't, it doesn't really make any difference. So a bit of, where's my Tombow? Right under my nose. How does that happen? Does that happen to you guys? You lose something and you can't find it, and it's right under your nose. Morning, Kathy. How are you? Lovely to see you on here. Hope you're doing okay. I know I only chatted with you last night, so I'm just laying that leaf in there. So even though you've come in a bit late, this will be recorded and you can catch up later, and I will also be uploading this to YouTube, so you can hop over to YouTube. Please do, anybody that's watching, please do subscribe to my channel, because the more subscribers I get, the better it is. I can change my name, because at the moment it's just under my personal name, and I would really like to change it to something that's more related to what I do. So the more subscribers I get, the better. And I'm going to snip the end off of this leaf, snip the stem off, and we're going to pop this one in. Don't know if I'm going to go under there, and I can't go under that leaf because I've got Tombow there. It's going to go under there like that, I think. Okay, so a bit of Tombow on the back. So just pop your leaves in wherever you feel they should be. They don't have to be where mine is. Always remember, guys, this is your card. You know, I know you are, if you've got my kits, you're limited because of the pieces that I've given you. So if you're following along with me, you are limited. But there's nothing stopping you moving things about. I love it when people go off piste a little bit and do things just a little bit different. So I think that's all of our stamped elements down. I'm just going to grab my Take Your Pick tool and find some gems to go on here. They're not gems, these are enamel dots. We have so many, I chuckled about this last week, so we have so many pearls and rhinestones and gems and dots and enamel dots that I'm forgetting to know which is which. So what am I using? Let's use these 2 little ones on here. It's going to go ping across the room. Come on, play ball. Doesn't want me to pick it up. I don't know if you can hear, but there's a fly up in the light, up above me. It's buzzing around and it's really annoying, so I hope you can't hear that. Oops! See, look, they jump. They're alive. I'm going to pop one down here, just to balance. We always do things in 3s, don't we? So I kind of work on the theory of a triangle. when I'm popping in things like this. And we'll have this one, thought it was a bit of Tombow then that had dried. Pop that one over there, like that. And then we're done. We're finished. That wasn't too taxing. Bit of fussy cutting, not too much. Let's hold it up so you can have a closer look. Let's try and get it in view, that would be helpful with my catch-up. Kathy, I hope you're finding a bit of time to craft. I know that you said you're having your space back to be creative in, so hopefully you'll be finding your mojo and pulling out all your craft stuff, getting a bit creative. And days like this are just perfect for crafting in. I always refer to these as craft days or ironing days, and believe me, I've got a lot of ironing I need to catch up on. So going back to our card, I'm just going to locate my insert. Now, what did I do last week? Did I not do anything? That's my original. What have I used in previous? There isn't one in there either. That's not very helpful. I think I've pulled out my original cards and not the cards that I made at the live. So let's have a look in the stamp set. So we've got a thank you. So we could have, I'm so glad you're in my life, because that relates to being thankful to someone. So I'm just going to pull off my thank you stamp, pop that to one side, and then bring back in my ink and try and get this as straight as possible. So I like to line it up with the bottom of my card. 2 hands on your stamp is always key, because if you're holding with one hand, you are probably going to apply more pressure to one side. If I can get this straight, it would be good. It's not too bad. Do I want to do anything else on here? Let's have a look. Have a look. We should do something that we've already got inked up, I think. I'm just going to pop this one right in the corner because it's so beautiful. I'm going to bring in my scrap piece because I'm going over the edge. Just keep my grid paper clean for you. And I'm going to stamp off just so it's quite pale and literally right up there in the corner. And I should have pulled in my mat, but it won't matter. I did press down quite firmly there, so don't know what that is. Little speck of dust there. So that's quite pretty, quite simple. So glad you're in my life. And it's at times like this when we do actually realise how precious some people in our lives are, looking after us and making sure we're all okay during these COVID times. Just laid that insert in, and there we go, all finished and complete. Ruby, have you finished? Thanks, Kathy. Kathy said she's liking my card, so thank you very much. So Kathy, we've been using this set here, The Love of Leaves. There's other as well, so the idea of this is that you get to stamp along with me at the same time that I'm creating, because you receive little kits in the post. So I'm just going to do up my ink. Bumblebee. And I've got a couple of things to share with you. So we've got one more week of The Love of Leaves, and then we will be moving on in November. We'll be moving on to 2 other options. Oops, I totally knocked that then. Let's bring in the first. Excuse my, look at the state of that. Let's give that a little wipe. This got well used at the weekend. Cherry cobbler is my favourite Christmas colour. So we have two options for Stampin' Chat. I ran through this last week, but I'm just going to run through it quickly again. I'm hoping there isn't too much of a glare. Ruby, you finished. Oh, thank you. You are welcome. Thank you so much for joining in and stamping along with me. So the next round we have two options. We've got a Christmas option and a non-Christmas. The Christmas is the ornamental envelopes. It includes 2 ink pads. I've chosen Sahara Sand and Cherry Cobbler. And then we will be using the shaded spruce, which quite a few of you had when I did the first round of Stampin' Chat. So you could use another green if you choose, if you have something similar. And it also includes an 1/8 of the pack of this exclusive Classic Christmas DSP, which is absolutely gorgeous. I did run through that last week, so if you want to have a look at those, you can go back and re-watch the live, either on here or via my YouTube. And it also includes a 1/3 of the pack, a pack of the Gilded Gems as well. And obviously your 5 card kits, your pre-cut card kits, so that you can stamp along with me. I've got a little creation. I will say I am loving, absolutely loving this colour combo and using it with these stamps. So here's a card I've created. We will probably do something very similar to this during the round of Stampin' Chat. So there are dies that go with this. Let's just grab those. Here they are. I love that this large die here just cuts out all of these baubles in one go. And then these are actually envelope liners to line the inside of your envelopes, but I've used it to create a nice bordered edge. So there is an option to add on the dies. So if you go with just the stamps, the inks and the papers and the gems, and obviously kits and postage, then it's going to be £36.95 posted. But if you want to add on the dies, you'll save 10% then on your, because you're having a bundle, and that will be £64.95. Today is the last day to book for this, because I need to get the order in and I need to get the products to me, ready to get all of your things out to you, ready for the first live, which I think is on 10th of November or 8th of November. It's a Tuesday. Anyway, I want to say 10th of November. We shall see. And then next, the other option is the All Things Fabulous stamp set, and it includes the Rococo Rose ink pad. Of course, if you've already got that ink, you can choose another colour. And then you're also going to be getting a half a pack of the Champagne Jewels and half a roll of the linen thread as well, along with your card kits. You'll get a little sponge wedge with both, because I'm sure there's always an option to add a bit of sponging. So this is £34.95 for the Stampin' Chat, and that's posted. But if you want to add on the dies, then it's £58.95. So, but I can see we can be doing a bit of fussy cutting with this, and obviously if you're not a fussy cutter, then you may well want to get the dies as well. The other thing I just wanted to share with you before I go, and before my phone battery fails on me, is the Curvy Celebrations. This is a combination I did show you last week, but for those that didn't join us last week, this is coming on 3rd of November. I'm saying 3rd of November, I'm hoping it's the 3rd of November. My brain has been pretty full lately, guys, and absorbing things has been pretty tricky. There's so many things going around in my head. So there are 3 items that go with this. Just grabbing the papers back. The Quite Curvy stamp set has a die set that goes with it as well, just reaching across for it. So these will be available in the new mini that comes in January, but Stampin' Up have offered us as a little pre-order, so a little sneak peek of what's coming. So you can purchase these next month. And then they've also added with this gorgeous curvy Christmas stamp set. I haven't inked, the only thing I've inked is the Merry Christmas. And these images are shown slightly smaller. They're at 80%, so they're slightly smaller than the actual size of their stamps. But it's just so cute. I cannot wait to play with this. So, but this is on a limited time purchase only until the new mini catalogue goes live in January. So you can purchase that as from next week. And also we have the pattern paper pack as well that goes with it. So Kathy, I'm just reading your messages. I will send you a message when I finish the live and we can chat through the options of what you'd like to go for. So these packs, you've got 48 in this pack. The papers are just gorgeous. So I do have a little project to share that I created. Haven't had much time to play with this. In fact, I've got two projects. So this is a little card. I'll try and put this on my page later. Little card that I created with the quite curvy stamp set, and I've used the dies here as well. So I haven't used the Christmas one, it's just the quite curvy. And we've used the Stampin' Blends to colour in here. So we've got Misty Moonlight. I want to say Seaside Spray. I'm going to have to grab a piece because now I'm confused if I've used another blue. Here's another blue. Bear with me one moment. I think I used Balmy Blue with this for some reason. Yeah, I've used Balmy Blue. But I've been using Seaside Spray a lot, but this would work equally as lovely with Seaside Spray. So Misty Moonlight, and then we've got Old Olive as well. So you've got these lovely little birds, the dies that cut them out. And then this is just a little box that I've designed to hold a bar of soap, or you could equally pop Ferrero Rocher in here or some chocolate treats. So that's just a little sneak peek of that stamp set and the dies. So I'm going to love you and leave you now. It's breakfast time for me. Thank you for joining me today. Please do take care, everyone. I will pop up, be lots of things popping up on my website about the upcoming offers and promotions that are coming. We've got a lovely paper pumpkin kit coming next month as well. I cannot wait to receive that. So lots going on, lots to tell you about. So do keep coming back. Please do share my page with your creative friends. If you share it to your page, then lots of other people will actually get to see what I do, and they'll be able to find me, and that way it could generate more business, more customers my way, which is always really helpful. So, and you know, we all know how lovely it is to be creative and to craft, so why not share that with others? So I'll bid you a farewell. Take care. Thank you for joining me, and I will chat with some of you very, very soon. So bye for now.